young scientist to Kenya all those years ago. He is, not only is he a diplomat with almost 30 years, just about 30 years of experience, he was the Irish ambassador at the time, and he's also a medical doctor. I'm just saying that for now, but we'll talk about him in a bit more detail. So thank you so much. We are really grateful that you made it back. So to the rules so that we can actually get started. And aha, good. I can see there's another pair here. So great. We'll do that. Well, you should really be on stage with us, but it's okay. It's okay. The rules are very simple. You'll stand back to back with your partner here. So I think Ben and Dr. Vincent, you two are together. You'll stand back to back with your partner in a moment. And I'm going to count down 3, 2, 1. When I get to 1, 0, go, you turn around and you both hold up a number on your hands. You can use both hands, you can use one hand. This is 0, just for the record. This is not 0, this is 3. So I don't want any complaints afterwards because the cameras are watching VAR to make sure things are done correctly. Okay, so that's 4. 3, 2, 1, 0 up to 10. When you turn around, the first person to correctly add the two numbers together and shout out the correct answer wins the little round. So is that clear? Okay. Let's just watch them do one round. Please don't laugh, because I'll be in trouble. Let's watch them do one round, and then we can all do our multiplication round, and we can get started. Okay, in 3. So back to back, great. In 3, 2, 1. Okay, great, thank you. Now everybody together, let's do 2 quick multiplication rounds and then we'll get started officially. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Alright, one final round, one final multiplication round. Okay, fine. We're doing, this round is addition. The next round will be multiplication and then we'll get started. Is that okay with everybody? Alright. So when you turn around, you need to add up his number and your number, and the first person to get the correct sum of the two numbers and shout out the correct answer wins. So we need to hear shouting. I need to hear numbers. Top of your voice shouting, please. All right. This is addition. In 3, 2, 1. Fantastic. And the final round is now going to be multiplication. Multiplication for the final round. No naming and shaming. Multiplication for the final round. Is everybody ready? Young scientists, are you ready? Yes! All right, in 3, 2, 1. Fantastic. Please give yourselves a round of applause as we also thank our invited guests, and you can please also make them into the seats. Let's give them a round of applause as they make their way into the seats. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Okay, and we can take our seats. We're going to play one very short video, and then which would like you all to watch 2 short videos, and then we will get started immediately thereafter. So I know you're seated down and you're watching a video. This is just to get you focused again, and then we will rise for the opening prayer, national anthem, and East African anthem in a moment. But for now, we can have 2 videos maybe from some of our past, showing what we've done in the past as well.
Through our outreach programs that we've done for the annual exhibitions and the bootcamp sessions, the winners day will follow on with the bootcamp session and will help match their projects and ideas, help develop them and help develop their skills to take them further.
Walking around the exhibition is a really, truly inspiring moment. All of you that I got to engage with, the common theme that emerged was that within your communities you saw a problem, and you saw a problem that you wanted to be fixed, and you found an innovative solution to that. And for that, I truly applaud you.
And the winner is...
This year, we managed to have an increase in number of project abstracts that were submitted, and we hope that from this closing ceremony and how we've had winners from the refugee school, from the special needs category as well, and just winners coming from across the country, we hope that we can continue with this energy and have more students ready to come up with solutions that can be able to just grow their communities and also impact Kenya at large. So thank you everyone for coming, and we hope to see you next year.
Thank you. Another round of applause for that video and what we did last year. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I am now going to ask if we can all rise to our feet so that we can have our Kenyan national anthem, East African anthem, as well as an opening prayer. Standing, I'm going to invite Tom from Sunshine just to give us a...
Let's bow down our heads for word of prayer. Almighty Father, we thank you for this day, we thank you for the gift of life, and thank you for the chance to be here. As we begin this event, we pray that you sanctify this area, and may everyone's projects go well, and may everyone do the presentations well, and may everyone succeed. We just thank you, and we just ask that you be with us through this entire event, and may nothing wrong happen. Amen.
We'll invite Sumaya as well from 15 High School.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم صدق الله العظيم.
Thank you. We may take our seats. Our chief guest, Your Excellency Dr. Vincent O'Neill, Your Excellency Deputy Ambassador Vivian Maris, Chair of the YSK Board, Glenn Roberts, board members present, Young Scientist Kenya Secretariat, National Director, Young Scientist Kenya judges, partners and visitors, teachers in the audience, and the superstars of the day, the Young Scientist Kenya. Welcome to the 8th National Science and Technology Exhibition here at Young Scientist Kenya. My name is Karagania Omlole, and it is my honor to take us through the day and walk us through this opening ceremony and kick off this year's edition of the exhibition with a big, big, big bang. This year's theme is using STEM to create a sustainable future. And this year, for those of you who do not know, Young Scientist Kenya is an organization that provides young minds, high school students and school students across Kenya, from every county, the opportunity to nurture their science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, or STEM ideas, innovations, projects, and careers. This year, present, we have, and feel free, students, to go with the who's and ahs as we practiced yesterday. This year, we have 130 student-led projects, representing all 47 counties of Kenya, 6 special needs, including 6 special needs schools, a refugee school, and for the first time ever, 20 junior secondary schools as well. We are going to be here for the next few days, and we're going to have a great time, and I do not want to speak too much because there are people who will come and really inspire you with their words. I just wanted to mention a few very quick house rules. Number one, we do have our washrooms directed that way, and I'm going to ask our guests, if you not know, please look out for one of the YSK team members. We will guide you to where that is, and for the students, if you know where that is, we also have our team of ushers who will help you reach those. We also have a medical ambulance and nurse area located just behind on that section, so feel free to reach out to them if you need to take a quick break. And the last house rule I want to mention is for us to really give rounds of applause. And I know we've practiced this. And what I want us to do is just do a quick practice. Round of applause. Let's give a round of applause for our speaker. That's good. I just want us to raise our voices a little bit more so that it's not just woo, it's all woo. All right, one more time. Round of applause for our speakers. Okay, I'll take that. But I will keep reminding you as we go along and as the day gets started so that we can really have a very, very, very good time together. Now, I want us to get started, and we are going to hear from some of our past winners. YSK has been, as you can see, this is the 8th edition, so we've been doing these exhibitions for 8 years, which means we have a very large group of incredible alumni, both winners and just participants as well, who are here. And there are 2 who I want to invite to the stage. One of them is going to entertain us a little later, and I'm going to ask him to come first. Please put your hands together with a massive round of applause. Massive round of applause for our winner from 2019, George Njaramba. Karibu, George, the floor is yours. Until he gets here, do not stop. Until he gets here, walking slowly so that he can really feel that appreciation. Karibu, George.
Hi guys. This is like all the volume. Hi guys. Hi. A little louder. Hi guys. Hi. Yeah, so my name is George Jaramba. I participated in YSK in 2019 and I was in Thika High School. I see Thika High School somewhere there. Yes, I was in Thika High School and participated in a project under biology and biotechnology and ecological sciences, and we won the first place. It was a project called MOSAX, and it was an abbreviation: Mosquito Safe Execution, MOSAX. So, what I'll tell you guys is what science and real life, where they come to interact. Professionally, I am a filmmaker. I've done film and media and graduated. And I also play the saxophone. Yeah. Other than that, science has led to me becoming more, how can I put it? Nimejipanga sana kimaisha. How can I say it? I have organized myself in life. You see how you can think about an idea, you have a project, you start thinking about it, you think about presenting it in YSK, you start doing the write-ups, the display boards. From there, I know in school you must get permissions to go to the lab, you must do this, you must do that. There are instructions that you have to follow. The same things that come to life. Even when you come in the career life, it's like you presenting your project there. You must present yourself in life appropriately. I think I'll see you later. We'll talk later once I come to entertain you. Have a blessed day.
Another round of applause, please, for George. Thank you. I still remember his projects, Mossack's. It was a very nice contraption, memories, and I'm really hoping to be inspired by all of your projects as well today. The next past winner that we want to hear from is, she was actually an overall winner as well in 2022. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together with a massive round of applause for Diana Wambugu. Diana, welcome to the stage. Until she gets here again, we're going to have a lot of clapping. Your hands will be red by the time we leave this year's exhibition. Very good, Diana.
Hello, I'm Diana. We met with most of you already. I was the overall winner 2022. And with YSK comes a lot with it. I got an opportunity to go to the Republic of Ireland, Dublin, Ireland. And with that, I also got a scholarship at Strathmore University. I'm in Strathmore University taking Bachelor of Business and Information Technology. All this is courtesy of Young Scientist Kenya. And right now, I came back as a volunteer. So it means while you are here, it's not just about presenting a project and then going back. If you don't win, you just go back and let everything go. It means there are more things you can do with this space you have been given right now. Don't take your failure, or don't take the part where you failed to become a winner as a turn down, but rather use it as an opportunity to do other good things with these people you have interacted with. It's more about interaction, it's more about making it in life. Everything starts from somewhere, and my success started from Young Scientist Kenya back in 2022 with my project called the Smart Fingerprint Ballot Box, which was to replace voting using manual way of voting to fingerprint way of voting, a manual way of sealing the ballot box to an electric way where we'll be using fingerprint to open it. So it had a lot of features, but I'm not going to explain it right now. So I wish you all the best. I want to assure you, if you win and if you don't win, but you put more, what can I say? You put yourself in it. Like, I decided to be into STEM course, right? So if I chose the STEM path, it's not all about coming to Young Scientist Kenya and winning. It's all about the passion in you. What do you want? Who do you want to become in the future? So know your path, know your way, and go through it. If you don't make it today, failure, you should not be a turn down, but rather a stepping stone towards your success. Thank you very much, and hope to see you again.
Another round of applause, please, for Diana. Thank you so much for sharing those words. Now, students, you've heard from past participants, people who have been here, who have been through the training. want to hear from you. How do you feel about your experience? Are you excited? Are you nervous? And the two of you who are going to speak to us about that, the first gentleman, and please give him a round of applause, is none other than Ahmed Adler from Memon High School. Welcome, Ahmed. I need to confirm, actually, he's from Memon Primary. Memon Junior School. Okay, I was a bit worried. Okay. Another round of applause for Ahmed as he's here.
Good morning judges, honorable guests, and my fellow students and competitors. My name is Ahmed Adil. I am from Memon Academy and I am in grade 9 currently. A couple months ago, when my partner brought this project to me, I was fairly optimistic that I would be standing here today. And today I am fairly optimistic I will also be standing here on Saturday on the penultimate day. My project, we conducted a research, and what is the main problem that the average Kenyan citizen faces? What is the main thing we need for life? It's water. And the average Kenyan citizen does not have that life, does not get water, clean, readily available water. So we created a project that fixes this problem. I will not go much into it. It's called the Simple Manual for Impeller-Driven Water Pump. You'll see me in the back. And hopefully, with this project, we can empower the local Kenyan citizen. We can empower a child to focus on education instead of walking 2 miles or 20 kilometers to fetch water every single day. Thank you.
Another round of applause for Ahmed, please. Thank you. Very inspiring words. It is my genuine hope that I will see him here on Saturday. And I don't know how the mathematics would work, but I hope to see all of you winning as well. I don't know how it will work, but we'll work something out because you really are all champions just for being here. We also want to hear from Anita Kaniva, who is all the way from Honorable John Njoroge Secondary School. Let's give her a round of applause. Until she gets here, don't stop, she almost here. There we go, thank you so much.
Okay, I'm a bit tense, so I'll put because of the morning. My name is Anita Kaniva, so I'm from Kuragania. I'm from Honorable John Njoroge Secondary School. I'm a Form 4 student, and this is not my first time in YSK. Last year I was here, but to my disappointment, I didn't make it to the awards. But that didn't put me down. I came up with another project with my partner, and I'm pretty happy that I'm here again, and I have this chance to present the project, and I hope that I will win. I've had experience, a good experience with YSK actually, and I've had to see many things. I've acquired many skills and knowledge that I couldn't get from out there, meeting scientists like you, everybody with a different view about this world we're living in. Everyone wants to change the world with the science that you have, the knowledge that you have equipped yourself with. So I want to urge you, even on Saturday when you're not called up here, just have that courage that, you know what, I came, I presented that project, I tried. It's all about trying. It's good to try. So with those few remarks, I want to say thank you, and hopefully, I hope we'll have a nice week. Thank you.
Another round of applause for Anita, please. Thank you so much, Anita. Very inspiring words. I'm inspired to try as well, even what I'm doing right now. So thank you so much for that. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to move into the, I don't want to use this word, but more serious speeches, in that these are young scientists who will be speaking to us, but maybe we would like to say they are young at heart. Okay, very respectfully, and we're moving into that part of the program. However, to kick us off is somebody who has been so essential to YSK. also from the very beginning. And she is here, she is strong, she's part of the YSA Secretariat. I don't think there's anybody who does not know her. She decided to start walking so I can stop praising her and cut my praise short, but I'm still going to keep going. Vanessa Nziani is the head of programs and partnerships here at YSA. Let's give her a massive round of applause. A massive round of applause. Vanessa, thanks so much. We'd love to hear from you, Vanessa. Karibu.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. It's either you're hungry, you're tired, you're sleepy, one of the two. So good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you. So I think, first of all, welcome to everyone for coming. He said young at heart. I think I'm on the younger side than anyone who will follow me. So I'm privileged to start. Yeah. Respectfully. But I think we're beyond excited to have everyone here. It's not been an easy week for us as Young Scientists Kenya. And I think before I read out what I drafted for today morning, I'd like to first of all thank Moi Educational Center for hosting us on such short notice. We had a bit of hiccups during the week, but I just want to invite the principal of Moi Educational Center to come and just say a brief word or two, and also just welcome you to his institution. And I think we can be able to pass by their booth afterwards to find out what they offer at the school. So very good.
Yes, with all protocol observed, good morning.
Good morning.
I think this country doesn't cease to amaze me. Until the last 4 days or 5 days ago, I didn't know about Young Scientists Kenya. And that calls the question, where has been the marketing to make some of our schools, like Moi Educational Center, to understand about Young Scientists Kenya? And more amazingly, this is one mathematics teacher who has been teaching mathematics from 1990, produced the best results you can imagine in high school. And I don't know about Young Scientists Kenya. I now know it. I now know it in the best way possible. And the best way possible than actually to host it at Moi Educational Center, where I have the privilege to be the principal of this great institution. To all the competitors and the judges who are here, let me make it very clear to you. We feel honored by your participation. We feel honored that you can stand the test of the rest in your backyards and make it to this level. We appreciate you, and we've seen the booth there. May the best presentation have the last day and actually get that kind of a success, so that many years to come, we can still look at some success stories like the two people who have just spoken. I also want to thank the sponsors to this program and the Irish government. When I saw the booth of the Irish government there, then I was like, Irish government, I was still internalizing so much of these things, but now I can now get the bigger picture. I've lived my life thinking, and with my mathematics, I want to challenge this body. Can you consider acquiring a piece of land somewhere in Kenya? That's a challenge, and I'm willing to participate if I'm invited to really actually do that. We need a farm, a mathematics farm, a science farm, with a permanent stand of whatever done. So when we have a successful case like some of the presenters are going to make today, it gets its own stand and it becomes a visitor's park, whereby you can pay a visit there, do 1, 2, 3. And we have so many of these lovely young scientists who would always volunteer their space to be there, because our Kenyan universities are churning out so much of them, and they are unable, the economies are unable to employ them. But I think they have a creative mind. Thank you so much. We feel so honored. I mean, I just don't know what to say. I'm so happy that such a thing is here. Vanessa, thank you. She's the shortest lady in this field at the moment. While I'm the tallest man. Thank you.
straight to it. I think we're all pressed for time. Kardania said it's supposed to be serious, but I wanted to let you know that I pulled my new suit, first time worn, just to ensure I can speak here. So I hope I am not a man. I'm looking a bit proper to the occasion. But I think I'll be as fast as I can possibly be. So I think to the students, you should be honored. I think you've been told it's just 130 projects, but that's out of 3,000 applicants. So it's not a mean feat. I think you have done a great job for you to be here. I did request in the groups with your teachers that you dress warmly. Yes, the sun is shining, but there are times when it will be cold, so please ensure you're okay. For judging, a number of you have asked me about this. Don't worry, it's just speaking to even your parent about what your project is all about. To the teachers, I think you're one of the superheroes that we don't appreciate too much. And I think today we just want to tell you thank you for your support to the students. I think from their many projects, I think there are those who wanted to do flying shoes and etc. across the year. But I think from what we have here, I think this is what we can be able to make sustainable and feasible per our theme. To our partners and sponsors, Karibuni, and again, thank you for taking a chance on us, especially to Dr. Neil, who's flown all the way from Ireland here, and Professor James, who's here from the UK. So just know your projects are attracting people from outside Kenya, and it's not just a local thing. So I think you are in the best place. And also I think to the sponsors, without you, I don't think we have this tent here. So again, I think your impact is felt. And then this week, as Kardania has mentioned, it's more about us listening for the students to showcase and also for us to celebrate the winners at the end of the week. So I hope we can be able to interact with them and mingle with them. I know if Kardania mentioned we have a deaf school, so I think from now it would be nice if we, as a club, we can just include them by doing this. And yeah, I think that's it. If you have any questions, you can look for me. Again, asante to everyone, and all the best to all the students. Thank you.
On the way down, Vanessa whispered to me, they have not clapped. Can you give her a round of applause, please? And in acknowledgement of our hearing impaired students who are here, so for those of you who may not be familiar with Kenyan Sign Language, this is how we sign rounds of applause. Okay, so normally it's around ear height, your hands are waving. However, in the spirit of enthusiasm, apparently what happens with sign language is to show emphasis, you almost exaggerate the movements. So I don't want your hands here, I want them all the way up here. This is us giving them a round of applause. So on 3, can we give a round of applause? There we are, all the way up. Even the hearing impaired, there we are. Thank you very much. And we'll be alternating as we go along throughout the day. We are going to hear from some of the partners, some of the people who have made YSK possible from a sort of high-level side. And I just want to take a moment to really acknowledge the people who have given us some support, because all of this would not have been possible with all the collaborations and the partnerships that we work with here at YSK. It's a long list. We have many partners, including our founding partners, the Irish Embassy, the Government of Kenya through the Ministry of Education, Diamond partner, Safaricom. We have a gold partner in KCB Foundation.
Silver partner, Institute of Physics, IOP, the RISA Fund in UK Aid as well. Program partner, Raspberry Pi Foundation, and Google DeepMind. Trophies partner, Kenya, which is the Kenya National Innovation Agency. Special award partners, Meteor Alliance, UNESCO. I'm going to put a star on Meteor Alliance because it's going to be useful when I talk about that in a moment. Education partners, Strathmore University, you heard about the scholarships, Immobilis as well.
Provided scholarships in tech enablement. Prem Chandbai Foundation have also done the same, so we really appreciate that support. Emergency services partner, Jet Flare Ambulances, who are here to support us. Student entertainment partner, Tunga Africa, have been entertaining the students in their accommodations over the evenings. Hydration partner, Jibu Water, giving us free water today. In fact, there are different dispensers and bottles across the day. Thank you so much for that, Jibo. Space education partner Leo Sky is here with us as well. Media partner Mtoto News walked with us from the very beginning. Printing partner Scanem Interlabels. And a legal partner, we have a legal partner, Adroit Law as well. So just give them all a round of applause. I know that was a long list, but thank you so much. Thank you so much. I want to invite one of the partners to kick us off and hear as well why they're here, why they're interested and invested in seeing you grow. But I told you I wanted to put a star on Media Alliance, who is a special award partner. And this is as a message to all of you students. And Dr. O'Neill, I remember when we had the 2018 exhibition, and you mentioned that, you know, in British Telecom, BTYSTE, which is the British Telecom Young Sciences Technology Exhibition, essentially Young Scientists Island, their edition that has been active for close to 60 years, yeah, I think, 61 years this year. He brought it here, and he said something in the beginning. He said, you know, we reach a point where everybody running the program for YSK, everybody is a past alumni, everybody has participated. It's almost, everybody is invested. You've heard from Diana. George is going to entertain us as well. Many of our volunteers who are here have been in YSK. I started as a volunteer in 2018, and then I was part of the team after that. Media Alliance, and this is again just an inspiration for all of you and a challenge for all of you. When you leave, please join. Media Alliance started as a board member. This is Michael Wayaki. He was a board member at the very beginning, and then he was also a national director briefly. And then he left and he started his company, and now he's come back to give us money. He's literally sponsoring us. So that's the path I want you all to take. Start as volunteers, all right? Start as volunteers, join the team, become a board member, and then give YSK money. Right? Come back and contribute, either cash, in kind, really cool give back. And I think it's a testament to how far we have grown that we'll actually reach that point as well. So just wanted to make that quick note. Okay, enough talking from me, because we have a long program, not a long program. We have many people that we really need to hear from, and you don't really need to hear from me, to be very honest. The first gentleman I would love to invite to the stage is the country director at Raspberry Pi Foundation. Please, ladies and gentlemen, you already saw him doing some fantastic mathematics on stage. Put your hands together again with a round of applause for Peter Wairagu as he comes in and gives us a few words. And a round of applause, don't forget. Woo! So now I want you to do this and woo at the same time. Woo! Okay, Karibu, Peter.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Quite a number of years ago, I used to sit where you seated because I participated in the then Science Congress. Yes, and it was a lot of fun moment as we competed with other students and enjoyed interaction with many. And years later, I was teaching in high school, and I'm happy this morning to be here in front of you. Now, as a different player in this game, I come from Raspberry Pi Foundation. Raspberry Pi Foundation is a charity organization based in UK with a mission to enable young people to realize their full potential through the power of computing and digital technology. Because we know what the future holds. Is it the future or the present? It's actually the present. That everything has moved to where technology is taking the center stage. And for us, we have come through the power of education because we know that we can impact young people in every corner of this country. There has been those that maybe live within the cities and therefore access to computers and other gadgets has been easy. But is that child somewhere in Lamu, somewhere in Madeira, somewhere in Mukuru, and so forth, that have not been so privileged to get this? And therefore, for us, we came with three options, or three products that we are supporting the community. Two of them, we work together with YSK a great partner, and that is the Code Clubs, because we believe that as young people in the afternoon, late afternoon, as some go to dancing club, others to scouting, others to Girl Guides, others to debating and so on, there are those who go to Code Clubs. And we have seen amazing work that is being done through Scratch, through HTML, and through Python. As we have gone to the schools and seen what the young people are doing, it is just amazing. Because we know that is a major key to opening the future. The other one is Experience AI. We developed this course together with Google DeepMind. We believe it is one of the best AI programs in the world, and it is being used in training in so many schools and so many countries. And therefore, so far through YSK, we have been able to train so many teachers, and so many students have benefited. We also have other partners in the country that are equally doing the same work. And we know that AI is changing things. People, environment, everything is completely getting changed. And we believe that one of the key things that we need to let you know is also to understand what is real and what is not real. Because there's a lot of misinformation that will come in this field. And therefore, we have great stuff and the content that the young people are being taught. The other content that we also train is the computing curriculum. Now, that one we have in so many schools in this country, working together with the government, working together with many individual the NGOs in the different parts of this country. In the computing curriculum, what we do, we have looked at the Kenya CBE education and looked at the curriculum itself. Currently, focusing from grade 4, what is the IT, what is the digital, what is the computing content within grade 4, grade 5, grade 6, and so on. And we realized that back in the year 2014 to 2017, the government did a fantastic job. They supplied digital devices in all the schools in our country. And if you want to know, there's a website that you can check. The school that is deep in the village, how many devices was it given? And it is there. And then the teachers, many of them do not come from a computing background. And we have been going through our partners to different schools or gathering them together. We train them on this content, and we have used a curriculum that was developed in UK and Ireland. We have been able to align it with the CBC curriculum and be able to develop a curriculum that fits our content, the CBC curriculum. And what has been amazing is the joy that we see when we take the teachers through. Because many teachers have been getting to grade 7. They get a concept called visual programming, and they realize this is an animal, and they skip that. But now, by taking them through, they have realized it is easy stuff. And the children, the young people are being trained everywhere. So we have done it, grade 7, grade 8, grade 9. Now we're working on grade 10, 11, and 12. So that every teacher is supported. When we gather them together in a venue like this, we ensure that every teacher goes back with a laptop and also goes back with content. So that we can go now and help the teachers with the tablet that the government gave, and that every young people is able to be taught. I think that some of you are beneficiaries of that. We are happy with what we are seeing. As Raspberry Pi, we want to see every teacher and every child getting the power, getting to know how can they use this digital technology for today and for the future. Thank you very much. I'm sure we'll be having quite some time today to discuss and for you to visit our start to hear more on the support that we're giving to the Kenyan community and to every teacher, every classroom, and every student. Thank you.
Please, another round of applause for Peter. Thank you so much. Students, I know we practiced this yesterday, and we agreed, we went through drills and drills and drills, that I wouldn't need to remind you that as soon as they speak, and now we've incorporated this. So, one more time. Can we give Peter a round of applause? Thank you so much. And Raspberry Pi Foundation as well, very close to my heart. Fun fact, my final year project for my computer science degree I wowed my lecturers with a Raspberry Pi enabled internet radio thing for the school. So I passed because of you. Thank you very much. That's one success. I would love us to hear from another core, important partner that we've had, that have walked with us from the beginning as well, from the very start, and that is none other than Safaricom. And to speak on behalf of Safaricom, we have the Manager for Consumer Postpay and Customer Loyalty, none other than, please give her a massive round of applause as she comes in, Jerusha, excuse me, Jerusha Okubasu. Let's give her a round of applause as she comes. Until she gets here, There she is. Thanks, Jerusha.
Good morning. Good morning. Please be kind, students. I'm the youngest out of everyone here, as you can see. Our chief guest, Dr. Vincent O'Neill, Madam Ambassador, Excellency, distinguished guests, Young Scientists Kenya Organizing Committee, teachers, parents, and most important, our brilliant young innovators. Good morning. Good morning. So what if the idea that will define Kenya's future is sitting right here in this room, in your notebooks, in the late night brainstorm, or in the courage to test something new? Today we gather not just to open the 8th edition of the National Science and Technology Exhibition, but to celebrate the boundless potential of young innovators who are shaping tomorrow. At Safaricom, we believe technology is more than just a tool, it's a force that transforms lives. This year's theme, using STEM to drive towards a sustainable future, captures exactly why we're here. Because the future will be shaped by your ideas, your curiosity, your courage to innovate, since 2018, Safaricom has proudly partnered with Young Scientists of Kenya to nurture this very spirit, supporting a platform where education, innovation, and technology together to empower students to dream big and achieve. I've heard a lot of success stories, but let me just maybe speak on one of our beneficiaries who's not in the room, but allow me to represent him. Our story that embodies this impact is that of Abdirahman, winner of the inaugural YSK competition in 2018. His innovation earned him a scholarship with Strathmore University to study informatics and computer science. But what makes this story very impactful is the fact that he's actually gone back and he's actually training coding in London School through the YSK Digital Literacy Program. Please let's give him a hand of applause. By making STEM more accessible and exciting, I remember when I was growing up, STEM was one of those courses we'll say we didn't like it, we didn't care for it. I remember doing one of those projects in one of the exams, and we're trying to put, I think it was a pendulum or something, we're trying to put the items together. And I looked at mine, and mine was not balancing, and everyone else was balancing, mine was falling everywhere. And that's when I knew for sure that was not something for me. But I'm glad that now we're making it exciting and accessible, and just making sure that we're becoming the next scientists, engineers, researchers, and entrepreneurs for the future. This year, Safaricom is proud to support this exhibition with a sponsorship of 3 million Kenyan shillings, an investment not just in the event, but in the aspiration of every student here. Beyond this exhibition, we have our youth platform, Safaricom Book, that connects youth to opportunities across Kenya in 3 different what we call books. Remember, we are cool like that, it's a youth platform. So for us here in front, maybe you're like, but maybe we'll be ready to it. So we have 3 books, which is the culture book. So we're helping youth monetize a passion in gaming, art, fashion, through master classes and creative pathways. When I was growing up, we knew that certain things, certain talents, whether you could sing, whether you could act, those are things that were only good to do in school, in drama festival, and that was it. But now what you're coming to learn is, from these passion points, you're able to make money from your music, from dancing, from gaming. Believe gaming can make money from that. So it's actually very cool. So under technology book, we're equipping young people with future-ready skills through partners such as Huawei, Transsion, Google Gemini, and Powerland projects. We are very pleased that this year we're able to offer 300 scholarships under the Software Development Program with PLP. At a career hook, we understand the two types of careers. There are those we're saying conventional and unconventional. For us in front, our sponsors, we have to be very kind to them, because as we're saying, they're the ones that we go to school, maybe a doctor, a teacher, and then there are those other ones whereby maybe content creation, which is also a career, as we can see right now. So we partner with partners like Brighter Monday, Wolsey, Trace Academia, Abuja, just to, can I say, prepare our youth for entrepreneurship opportunities. So let me call this a celebration. I know we keep saying it's an exhibition, but it sounds so formal. But as we celebrate the bold ideas and daring curiosity from classrooms across the nation, to every student presenting a project, congratulations. Once again, any student presenting a project, congratulations. Just getting here is an achievement in itself, and we cannot wait to see where your ideas will take you. To our teachers, mentors, partners, thank you for your guidance, your resources, and your belief you pour in this youth innovators. You're building a foundation for a more inclusive and thriving future. As I close, as we open this 8th edition, let us remember your curiosity is your power, your ideas are Kenya's future, and together, students, educators, partners, and Safaricom, we are building a legacy of innovation that will transform lives for generations to come. Thank you.
Can we give a massive woo? And then as your hands are as high as they can go, in 3, 2, 1, I want us all to come down and give one clap all at the same time in 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much, Jerusha. That was fantastic. And we really do appreciate what you're doing for Safaricom and how the partnership is evolving and growing to really cater to what we need as we go along. Thank you so much for that. We'd love to hear from another partner who has come in and have given us tremendous support as well this year. And we hope it's the beginning of a long, fruitful collaboration and that we will grow together. And that is the director from KCB Foundation. Please, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together with a massive round of applause. Young scientists, I'm counting on you. Help me welcome to the stage, Mandy Njonjo. Let's have she gets Karibu, Mandy. And she's not here yet. She's not here. Keep going. There she is. Karibu.
Morning, everyone. Morning. I feel very welcome. How's everyone doing? How are the young scientists? Mkoaje? How are you guys doing? Some energy. Mkoaje? Excellent. So allow me to ride on existing protocols and jump into it. Today is a very happy day for me. So my name is Mandy, and beyond what I do at KCB Foundation, I think the Young Scientists Kenya work, it really speaks towards something that is very near and dear to me. Because as Peter said, there used to be something when we were growing up in the 1900s. Yeah? That is where we come from. That is the era that we come from. That was called Science Congress. And one of the things that was abundantly clear to me when I participated in Science Congress is the depth, the brilliance, the amazingness that we have in Kenya. We are blessed to have, and I think even just looking at the stands over here, we are blessed to have mathematicians, we're blessed to have scientists, we're blessed to have biologists, chemists, physicists. Everyone who is in that STEM field has been present in the history of Kenya, has been present as part of Kenya's journey. And one of the things that is very gratifying about Young Scientists Kenya is being able to see that truly the future, we are in very good hands. I think as it was Vanessa who said, was it Vanessa? It's not just about the future, it's also about the present. We are in very good hands with you, our young people, and as KCB Foundation, we are really looking forward to this partnership and to also seeing what comes out of all the amazing conversations, the stands that are out there, and the work that all of you are doing. So I had a few prepared remarks. Allow me to read them. My team keeps telling me stick to the script. So allow me to stick to the script. So it's a very great honor to stand before you today
Kenya's young scientists, dreamers, doers. So you're not just presenting projects, you are presenting possibilities. That is what we are all excited about. You're presenting possibilities of who we can be as a country and what we can solve, not just for Kenya, not just for East Africa, but indeed for the world. And at KCB, we've been part of this nation's story for over 120 years. And we're therefore, something that we're very proud to be is very proudly Kenyan, because we believe in the potential of this country, we believe in you. Because Kenya, what we are very also convicted about is that we're not going to borrow our future. It is something that the students who are sitting here are going to build. And science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and bold ideas like yours are truly what will write that story. Which is why we're proud to have programs like Tujiajiri, because what Tujiajiri is, as you know, unajua Tujiajiri kusemaje? Unajua? Ama hamjui Kiswahili? Yeah? Tujiajiri, who knows Tujiajiri, what that means? So somebody wants to translate it to me in Swahili. The lady who spoke, haujatensa, sasa what does Tujiajiri mean? Self-employed. Let us employ ourselves. Thank you. And what we're trying to do with programs like Tujiajiri is to make sure that we have the skills as well as the knowledge in our young people. And what we try and do is to try and transform this into enterprise, Ndivyo Tujiajiri. Because we believe that brilliance should never, ever, ever be limited by your background. We are also very proud as KCB to support brilliant, brilliant young people who are going through high school, as well as into tertiary with our high school KCB Scholars Program. I believe we have a few here. On Friday. So we're also, that is also something as KCB we're very proud of in terms of just walking the path with really brilliant young people, being able to walk them with their journey through high school as well as through tertiary. And when I look at you, we see the same spirit. Our students are curious, you are curious. Our students are courageous, you are courageous. Our students are rooted, our students are unstoppable. So please take pride, not just in your science, but in your identity. Be proud to be Kenyan. Be proud to be builders of solutions, of businesses, of knowledge, and a new economy. Because we know the future is not going to be outsourced. The future will be written by you, and it starts right here with you today. Thank you all, and looking forward to Young Scientist Kenya 2025.
Thank you so much. Maybe another round of applause for her. Thank you. You know, typically what happens when I really, and I do apologize, sometimes I do force these rounds of applause, force you to give them to our speakers. It's normally only the first row that really respond, because they know I can see them individually, I know all their names, but I want everybody, even at the back. So apart from our, maybe the first 3 rows, let's say from our camera team and beyond, I just want to hear your voices, and I want to hear you give a round of applause, just so that I can be sure you're also participating, because they're carrying us here. The team in front are really carrying us. So from halfway backwards, round of applause for Mandy! And keep going, okay, keep going on the glass, the front half to join. So round of applause for Mandy at the back! Keep it going in the front! Thank you. At least I know that we are all participating. Thank you very much, KCB Foundation, for really participating and holding hands with us here at YSK. It is now my absolute honor and pleasure to invite somebody who has also been with YSK. And interesting, I spoke of the journeys, how you know you start. I think he started sort of as a sponsor and a partner, and then he came in, board member, and then now he's the chair of the board. So there are different ways you can always support YSK, but we really love, I think it's a recurring theme of how much we want to continue to give back to the next generation of young scientists. And the gentleman I am speaking about, of course, is none other than Ben Roberts, the chair of the Young Scientist Kenya Board. Ladies and gentlemen, he's going to come and he's going to speak and he's going to wow you with his Swahili, because I think he planned to do his entire speech in Swahili, is what he told me. And after that, he's going to invite Her Excellency Evelyn Maris, the Deputy Irish Ambassador, and thereafter she will invite our chief guest, His Excellency Dr. Vincent O'Neill. So you won't hear from me for a bit. So Ben, as we give him a round of applause, let us appreciate the strength of old partnerships and new partnerships. Mr. Rotich, you had not heard about YSK because we wanted to introduce it to you in person with everybody here, no other way. And therefore, with a massive round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, until he gets here, let's welcome to the stage Mr. Ben Roberts, the chair of the Young Scientist Kenya Board. Join the board. Karibu, Ben. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Karagania. So good morning, everybody. Welcome our chief guest, Vincent O'Neill, Ambassador, Deputy Ambassador Evelyn Maris, Safaricom and other partners from Raspberry Pi Foundation. It's nice to be back, and I didn't even, I normally come to these things and this won't be the first time I say something here this week, I think, but I didn't think about what to say, but basically I've decided to take two things today, and I think Karagania just read my mind in what those things are. The first two things I'm going to say are welcome and welcome back. So, first of all, welcome. Welcome to anyone who's not been to YSK before. Put your hands up if you've never been to YSK before. That is brilliant. So, I'm seeing lots of YSK children taking part in from secondary school taking part. I'm seeing lots of hands up. I'm seeing teachers there as well putting their hands up in that group, and we wouldn't be able to do this without teachers. But also I'm seeing junior secondary school participants as well taking part, and this is really exciting, and I'll talk a bit more about that later. But it's great to have a whole new category, a whole new class, a whole new generation actually taking part in YSK. And then also really exciting to see new partners. So I see KCD Foundation, Raspberry Pi Foundation has been here, but their first time really taking part in the finals. So it's great to have them here. And also our hosts, Moy Educational Centre. It's great to be having them too. So welcome to everybody who's never been here before, and it's just a little bit about I think why we're here, and perhaps from my point of view why I'm here. My first time at YSK was in 2019, and I was invited to this opening, and they told me the president's opening it, but it's on a Saturday morning. I started getting it on a Saturday morning, but I came to later in the week. There was the finals, and that was on a Thursday. I came to that, and actually the speaker there, who was presenting, actually is our president now, and going around and seeing the projects that everybody had done, and seeing the amazing innovations, it kind of really inspired me. But then I really got thinking about something, or thinking about my own experience in life. And I went to school in a country very far away from here, but I did something very similar in high school. It was more engineering focused, but something where we had to do engineering projects, working with local industry, solving a problem for our local environments, and doing an engineering problem, presenting that and coming together in the same way. And then there were other things that followed on from that, an internship, a potential scholarship, which I didn't take, but I studied physics instead of engineering. But those things sort of flowed on, and I actually realised and remembered actually how much I learned from taking part in this scheme. It's called Engineering Education Scheme. So learning by doing rather than just the books. I did study a bit as well, and didn't do too badly. on the books, so it's quite important to keep that. You can't forget that. But the application of those learnings is really what makes them useful, right? And as an employer in Kenya as well, I always tend to look at when you get you're looking for an engineer or a technologist coming into a company, and you get a whole bunch of CVs and they all look the same. I generally tend to look for what they did outside of school. And if people have taken part in engineering clubs, coding clubs, science, I did all of these things at school. Science club, astronomy club, photography club, as in everything. All the geeky ones. I wasn't in the football team, any of those things. Everything geeky, I was in all of those clubs. But I'm looking for those things as an employer. Moving on then, the second thing really is to say welcome back. Welcome back to all of our partners who have been here before. Safaricom have been here since the beginning. Raspberry Pi Collaboration been with us as well. Institute of Physics as well have been with us since the beginning. Everybody is there. And then some people who've, they were here and then also they've come back after a while. I see Meteor Alliance, I see people who've been part of YSK since the beginning. That is, I think, very, very important. I think that the partners that YSK has, who've been around a while, are recognising the impact that it has. So they're here and back again because of that impact, and that is why they're taking part. But then really much more exciting is seeing the teachers and the students coming back. The students coming back, they're still in school and they did a project last year, we just heard, and then they're coming back to try again after having not got an award the year before. But also people who've been students who took part in YSK, or winners or participants. I see them volunteering with YSK, and then I see them all sorts of places as well. This is what really makes it very having been working with YSK for a few years, going out there, I'm working in technology, but I see people that have taken part in YSK in the technology sphere. There's a big summit here earlier this year called the Africa Tech Summit. People come from all over Africa, Nigeria and South Africa and everything, to have this big tech summit in Nairobi. And I saw one of the YSK winners was winning an award, an innovation award in this Africa Tech Summit. Another big meeting, another Pan-African meeting, took place at Safari Park Hotel. It was the International Telecommunications Union Africa preparation for a global summit. And then I'm sitting there, just to hear what Africa was going to prepare for the summit. And I'm seeing YSK winners and awardees on the stage in a big Pan-African event. These people are not even finishing high school, not even finishing college. But now, even because YSK has been going 7 years now, the people who took part in YSK from the beginning, they're coming into the workplace. I'm seeing them as entrepreneurs, as employees in the workplace. So I think this is what's really important, is welcome to everybody, but for those that have been here before, keep coming back. And I think, our new friends will be keeping coming back as well. Then, just as I conclude, and to invite the Deputy Ambassador, earlier this year as well, it was my first time to go there, but I accompanied the winners of this competition, the overall winners. We take to Ireland to see Young Scientists Ireland and see a bit of what is going on in tech and science in Ireland. But I went to Dublin for the first time in 25 years. I used to go on holiday to drink Guinness, but I went back for some serious science this time. But going back to Dublin and actually seeing from that 25 years, the city we're talking about has transformed itself into a tech capital of Europe. So I'm seeing big logos of the big companies that we know, but they're the same companies we see here in Kenya. You see some of these around Westlands, these big logos of these global tech companies around Nairobi. So I think Young Scientists and building STEM careers and building talent for STEM has been part of Ireland's journey in becoming this new tech capital of Europe. Really, the Irish contribution to Young Scientists Kenya since the beginning, founding it. We're going to hear from two Irish people. I'm not Irish, but we'll hear from two Irish people in the next items of the closing ceremony. It's my pleasure to invite the first of those, Deputy Ambassador of Ireland to Kenya, Evelyn Maris. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's a little bit quiet for my old ears. Can we go a little bit louder? Good morning, everybody. Good morning. That's better. I feel the energy. Please, all protocols observed. On behalf of the Ambassador of Ireland, it is my distinct pleasure to be able to be here today for the 8th Young Scientists Kenya exhibition. My first time attending this was 1 year ago, and I was just in the country maybe 3 or 4 days. What's lovely today is actually to come back and see so many familiar faces. So to feed into Ben's point, it is great to see old partnerships, new partnerships, all of the judging panel and all of the students back here again today. So Caribou, it is fantastic to have you here joining us. I'm also pleased to be able to join with the key partners with YSK, some of which we've heard from already, so from our KCB Foundation, from Raspberry Pi, and from Kenya. I want to also pay special recognition to all of the schools, the teachers and the pupils present here today, and a huge thank you to the staff and faculty and to the principal of Moray Education Centre for being able to host us. We very, very much appreciate your flexibility and all of the support that you provided for what was a very quick decision to join you here. Participating in the Young Science events takes science and STEM beyond the textbooks and classrooms. In Ireland, the Young Scientist exhibition has grown to become an established part of the education and indeed the political calendar. It's always really impressive and inspiring to witness the incredible creativity of young people. And as Ben has said, we're really delighted that in many cases the winners, the overall winners, are able to travel to Ireland to join the Young Scientist exhibition in Ireland. And that's a really great opportunity to share knowledge and to share experiences. So thank you again to the YSK Secretariat for being able to support that. Since the inception of Young Scientists Kenya, the Irish Embassy has been extremely proud to partner with YSK and Kenya on the shared priority of education. As Ben has alluded to, Ireland's own experience of development and modernisation underpins our support for global education and STEM. Education has powered Irish social and economic transformation and has shaped the Ireland that we live in today. Access to free quality education has been instrumental in Ireland's revolution, and we've gone from a nation where young people had to leave the country to a nation that now has one of the highest levels of third quality education in the world. And this very much leads into our own international development policy, A Better World, which has a strong commitment to education and specifically to girls' education. And the new government, under the Programme for Government, continues that commitment with a commitment to increasing our overseas development assistance to education, specifically for education for girls in emergencies. Ireland also recognises the importance of bridging the digital divide and is committed to ensuring that access to and development and use of technologies are equitable and inclusive and address existing inequalities and education gaps. We recognise the important role that young people play like this. Africa is home to the youngest population in the world, and while this presents multiple opportunities for economic growth, it also requires significant support and investment to ensure the inclusion and empowerment of younger people. To quote Dr. Dane Goodall, the greatest triumphs of science have been achieved by those who have had the courage to explore the unknown. I urge all of our young scientists in the room today to continue to plant the flames of curiosity and ensure the sparks of creativity burn long and bright. The world in which we're living in is becoming increasingly more complex, but it's also becoming increasingly more connected. Society needs scientists from all backgrounds to come together and to solve complex problems.
To the students gathered here, we acknowledge that you are on a journey of exploration, of discovery, of creativity and of collaboration. And we are here to walk that journey with you and encourage you to celebrate your learning. I am particularly delighted that YSK continues to attract such a high number of girls and those from marginalised communities, and it's great to see all of you present here today. I'd like to take the opportunity to acknowledge the critical role that is played by the parents, by the teachers, by the mentor, by the judges, and by the sponsoring partners in making YSK a success. Without you, this exhibition would not be possible. We rely on your dedication and commitment and goodwill and support to ensure each year our budding scientists are given the opportunity to attend this event, to broaden their horizons, and to inspire them to never stop questioning. Like all successful partnerships, Young Scientists Kenya involves hard work, passion for youth and education, perseverance and commitment. These qualities are abundantly evident here today in the remarkable projects the students share each year. I am very excited to be able to join you here and to be able to join the exhibition and to meet with all of the students. By far one of the highlights of the Embassy's calendar is being able to come to this event and to engage with all of you. And last year, I think I said it, but it really is inspirational to see the projects that young people are coming up with. Your use of innovation in a world that is constantly changing. You are the bright young future of Kenya, and it is great that we are able to partnership with you. I want to leave you with a parting word from Marie Curie. Nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood. Now is the time to understand more so that we may fear less. And now, my final duty is to represent or to introduce our chief guest. I'm particularly pleased that Dr. Vinnie O'Neill is able to join us. He was instrumental in establishing Young Scientists, both here in Kenya and also in Jordan. He now serves as Director of Young Scientists and Technology Exhibition in Ireland. The YSK exhibition is testimony to his legacy as a former Ambassador of Ireland to Kenya. I want to, maybe we'd all be upstanding to welcome him to the stage. Let's have this honour.
Thank you very much. You're all very welcome. I feel humbled. Thank you for inviting me back home. Today is the first day I've come back to Kenya in 6 years. And I consider my family, this is a home that we love. So I can't explain how happy I am to be invited, and also on this special occasion. There are mixed advantages to being chief guest. One of the disadvantages is you get to speak at the end of a lot of fantastic speakers. But I'm asking you, and particularly addressing my comments to the students, also the teachers, all of the stakeholders that have been mentioned that I'll come back to talk about. And I'm going to tell a few stories. Everybody likes to hear a story. And I want you, please, to try and listen to some of these stories. Some of the elements have already been covered by the other speakers. My first story begins when I came to Kenya 10 years ago. And Ireland, the Irish government, decided to open an embassy in Kenya. It had been here before, they closed it 30 years previously. But then I was asked on behalf of the government to open the embassy. And when you do that as an incoming Balozi, an ambassador, you get to meet the president. And when I met the president, we had a very interesting conversation. he said to me, Balozi, he said, the Irish, I want you, Google Ireland, please. I'm not going to tell you too much, but you guys are the ones who hoover up information. Sometime over the next few days, just Google Ireland. He said, Balozi, the Irish people contribute to a huge amount of education in Kenya. And the president said, I myself went to a school started by Irish missionaries in St. Mary's, Nairobi. You taught us, you taught me. And he said, there's a legacy of contribution to education which I think would be good to build on. He said another thing, and he said, Balozi, unlike many other countries that came to Kenya, Irish people came to give and not to take away. I never forget that. And I told that to many people afterwards. And then he said a third thing. He said he was in awe about Ireland's development transformation that the Deputy Ambassador has just spoken about over the last 50 years. And he said, I know Ireland won't be bringing huge amounts of money, development finance, to Kenya. But what I want to do, and I want you to do at your new embassy, is to help us to learn some of the lessons that you have learned in your own development, and to try and bring some partnerships with some of the key institutions that you developed, so that we can also develop. We do it differently, but we want to learn from that experience. That was my first conversation with the President. And he gave me a gift as a new ambassador coming in, because he set me thinking about what we should be doing in our embassy in Kenya in the years ahead. Okay, I'm going to park that story, and I'm going to go to another story. And that story goes back, as Carrie Gagnon referred to, 61 years ago in Ireland. And again, as the Deputy Ambassador said, Ireland was one of the poorest countries in Europe. The biggest thing we exported was our people. We exported our people because there was no jobs. And our society was based on subsistence agriculture, 60 years ago. At that time, two scientists, Professor Tony Scott and Father Tom Burke, they were professors of physics. They wanted to change that. And the way they changed it, they wanted to try and stimulate students to undertake science, because they believe that if you have a society with a deep knowledge and commitment to science, that will change that society. And how right they were. So they started Young Scientist exhibition, it was called, 61 years ago. And 61 years later, Young Scientist in Ireland is one of the most successful and influential institutions in the country. And I'm very pleased to say Dr. Scott is still alive and still very much, he came to Kenya for the opening of the Kenyan exhibition, or launched 8 years ago. And he's still fighting hard 61 years later. And why has it been successful? Again, throw out a few lessons that have huge relevance to Kenya. It's built on a huge commitment to education in the country. Nelson Mandela said, education is the foundation for all of development. It is, Young Scientists in Ireland is founded on a belief in young people, that they will become the architects of their country's future, just as you here today are the architects of Kenya's future. The future of this country is within your hands. Also, it's successful because science, when used properly, is the basis for solving difficult problems, societal problems, and generating business opportunities. It incentivizes innovation, participation, and the development of entrepreneurs. And it brings together all of the people that everybody's been mentioning today: ministries of education, private sector donors, students, teachers, volunteers, people on the board, all of these groups, the secretariat. It brings a diverse group of people together to actually invest in a movement that incentivizes and rewards young people for change. And that's why it's successful. And the Young Scientists in Ireland is the oldest and most successful student science fair anywhere in the world. And we're very proud to say that. And the winners of the Young Scientists in Ireland go on to represent Ireland in Europe and in the US and in other countries. And in Europe, the Irish winners have won the European competition 17 times out of a possible 25. I'm saying that because the elements that are there are the same elements that are within YSK. And the same potential is there for YSK to grow and develop. Are you following me okay? Can you understand? Okay. I want to give you another story. Another story. In 2005, 20 years ago, there was a young boy called Patrick Collison and his brother John entered the Young Scientist exhibition in Dublin 20 years ago. Patrick had a project focused on a new language for computer programming. And again, there were 2,000 applicants whittled down. Patrick became the winner in 2025. He was Ireland's, or 2005, he was Ireland's Young Scientist. And his brother also entered, John, and he got a highly commended prize. So both of them did very well at the competition. After 3 years later, before they left school, the brothers had started a company which, before they left school, they sold for $3.5 million. Then they went to university, and after university, one of the issues they were both interested in is how do you ensure payments made on the internet will become secure and will remain secure, because otherwise the whole trend was going towards global shopping and internet transactions and payments. So after they left university, they established a company in California in the US called Stripe. Look it up, S-T-R-I-P-E. And before long they had 75 employees. Fast forward to today, this company, started by 2 Young Scientist winners 20 years ago, employs 8,000 people globally. It's an Irish-American company. Each of the Collison brothers has a net worth of over $10 billion each at this point in time. Now, I'm not saying that should be the ambition of everything, but we all want examples of success. And projects that bring about societal transformation. And Ahmed was talking earlier about a project to try and improve accessibility of clean water. They are equally as transformative, equally as important. But the point is, when talking to those two Collison brothers, they said exactly the same things that were said earlier on by George and Diana. They said it's about competing, it's about doing your best, it's about accepting the fact that sometimes you don't win, but it's also about getting key skills that are really important, whatever you do in life. And, you know, they say that, and this is equally important today. Okay, my final story is taking those three things. So, my meeting with the president, I went back then when I was ambassador and spoke to a few people. And I spoke to people in Tanzania because there was an initiative to bring the Young Scientists program to Tanzania, and they had many useful lessons that we could learn from. We spoke to the Young Scientists in Ireland, we spoke to businesses, the Ministry for Education, private sector, individual Kenyans about this idea. And the question was, might this work in a Kenyan society? And what kind of benefits Kenya might have in a way similar that there were benefits in Ireland, but recognizing absolutely we are not transposing one model from Ireland to Kenya. It has to become a successful Kenyan model also. So everybody we spoke to agreed this can work in Kenya, and that was back in 2015. But getting from an idea to a launch took time, and a lot of pain, and a lot of sleepless nights, and a lot of questioning, is this going to happen? First of all, we needed to get a core group of committed and qualified supporters. I see Michael Boyaki here and many others from today. Such great encouragement from these people. We reached out to government, Ministry for Education, to donors, Safaricom. We had discussions at the early stage, other donors, teachers, influencers, media. We reached out to Tanzania. We had many meetings, some successes, some blind eyes, and some disappointments. And then in 2017, we were getting our Minister for Education came to visit Kenya. And we said, there's an opportunity here. And during his visit, there was a formal agreement signed between our Minister for Education and the Minister for Education, the Cabinet Secretary for Education in Kenya, where they jointly agreed that the Government of Ireland would work with the Government of Kenya to set up YSK. And that was a fantastic benchmark along the way. So we set up a temporary board, we registered the company as a public company, and I initially chaired it, and then latterly it was chaired by PS from the Ministry for Education, a predecessor to Ben, and we got some other people to work on the board. We got excellent funding from the Embassy, from Irish Aid, and some other donors at an early stage. We had several discussions with Safaricom, and I remember many times wondering, will they, won't they, will they, won't they? But they had faith in us. And I think many of the objectives of Young Scientists were also similar objectives to what Safari want to achieve through their outreach to young people. And then we employed a small number of staff, and you've heard the rest of the story about the exhibition in the first exhibition in July 2018. And there was only 10 counties that submitted projects from 80 schools and 160 students participating. And look at now, by 2025, YSK has reached over 250,000 students in Kenya in over 750 secondary schools and in the 47 counties. Give yourself a clap. Great achievement. I just want to make a few points about what are the similarities between the challenges of you as a student in getting a project over the line for YSK and our challenges as a group of people trying to start YSK in Kenya. Start with a vision that you deeply believe in. Believe in yourself and never doubt yourself. Pursue your vision relentlessly. Speak to people and get the right people to work with and give you advice. Don't be afraid of challenges. Embrace the challenges to progress from strength to strength. Be patient because you will meet barriers, but stay focused on your goal. Adapt your project as you accumulate more information. Finally, I can't tell you how pleased and how proud I am to be here today. I'm proud of all of you that are in this room for the collective achievements. The Deputy Ambassador mentioned parents, and sometimes we don't give them the credit. The way teachers often are not given enough credit. Sometimes ministry officials, like anybody who has anything to do with this organisation, it's essentially voluntary. The judges, all of these people, all of you deserve a pat on the back, and all of you deserve to bask in the glory of its successes. So I want to thank all of you. You all know who you are, and I don't want to mention different groups because I'll definitely leave a few people. And it's hugely important that YSK, this 8th year in the competition exhibition, goes from strength to strength in the future. And Ireland will be with you as you grow in the years ahead. The Embassy of Ireland is hugely committed, as the Deputy Ambassador has said. Irish Aid is also committed to giving financial support. Our Prime Minister was here last year. He himself was a teacher. He loves YSK and he loves young scientists. And he signed a memorandum with Young Scientists in Ireland and the Department of Foreign Affairs that we would work to see how we can further support young scientist initiatives in some of the countries where we're active into the future. And that was just signed. Ben and his colleagues were there, I think, last January when that happened. And also, tomorrow, this week, my board, the Young Scientists Board in Ireland, is formally signing a licensing agreement with the board of YSK in Kenya. And the signing of that agreement, which is also supported by the Department of Foreign Affairs for giving funding for it, is going to guarantee a deepening of cooperation between Ireland and Kenya and Jordan and other countries where we're going to have the initiative over the next number of years. The great scientist Albert Einstein said, "Education is not the learning of facts, but the training of the mind to think." I think just be with that quotation for a second, because there are so many parallels with YSK. The entire YSK movement is allowing students to adopt the scientific method, to think through possible solutions to local problems, national problems, or possible opportunities for growth, social and business development. Our experience in Ireland has been that the initiative has led to huge changes in our society. My earnest hope, and I have no reason to disbelieve that the exact same is going to happen in Kenya. And I'm parting and I leave you with that wish and ask everybody who's in this room today to continue to engage with YSK. May it be a shaping moment in your lives as you progress. I'm talking to the students in the years ahead in the same way as the previous winners have outlined today. And may the people, the engaged, the stakeholders, the funders, the supporters, may you get as much fulfillment and belief in progressing YSK in Kenya as I have had in my association with it, because it is great hope for young people to create a future for all of us. Thank you. Asante so much.
Please, another round of applause for Dr. Vincent O'Neill. You know, we're also streaming this live on YouTube, so we want everybody at home to really hear how much we appreciate that. Please, another round of applause for Dr. Vincent O'Neill. I think it's truly gratifying. There are really no words to express how much we appreciate the vote of confidence you've given us. It's come for approval. We are headed in the right direction, and I think it's something that Kenya, it's going to be part of your already stellar legacy, but having been here to launch Young Scientists Kenya, there are students here now, the students from the first exhibition who will remember, this is why it started. So thank you so much. Please, one more time, a round of applause, a round of applause. And if my colleagues who are experts in sign language can confirm, I think when we say thank you, that's it. So let's all give him a thank you. It's going to look weird on camera, but this is thank you. Let's give him a very big thank you. And as I spoke about emphasis, really get in there. One more time, everybody on 3, 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much, Dr. Right, ladies, gentlemen, young scientists, that is actually the official end of the official opening. So we are ready for your projects to be judged. If you're not at your desk in the next 10 seconds, you may be scored down. No, relax. We still have a ways to go. We are going to move immediately into a panel discussion where we'll have an opportunity to really pick the brains of the speakers that we've had. So they really will all be coming back. They're not gone just yet. However, to smoothen us and welcome us and transition us into that part of the program, please help me welcome back to the stage. And he is somewhere. And there he is with his gold saxophone. He's going to serenade us with a few, 1 or 2 songs. Please join in if you know them. Before he comes, I'm going to ask everybody to stand up because I want us to do one very quick activity. We can all stand up. Now this is a repetition of something we did earlier in the morning, so those of you who are here in the morning will know how this one will go. But what I want to do, this is the most important activity we're going to do. If you see a seat that is empty in front of you, please step away from yours and fill that one in front of you so that we can fill up as much as possible. That's it. That's it. I'm really asking everybody if we can just fill the seats so that as people are coming, they don't have to step in front of us to get to their seats. Thank you so much for responding to that request. And we may take our seats. That's all it was. That's all it was. That is all it was. All right. Okay, so as we get into the panel discussion, just maybe a little word for our panelists. At some point, we'll be taking your chairs. Please do not worry, we're just bringing them onto stage. And then we'll begin the panel discussion. But we will let you know when that happens. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, round of applause as he takes us to the next session. YSK past winner, saxophone genius and aficionado. Please put your hands together again for George Injaramba. Until he gets here, Thank you so much, George. The floor is entirely yours.
Thank you very much. I want to play some 3 songs. And the first song, I think, it's for students. The second song, I request our panelists and our guests to stand to dance along. I hope you'll enjoy. Tuache kuboeka, si ndio? Yes. Huko nyuma tuache kuboeka, si ndio? Backbenchers. Next song, it's a reggae song. Let's all stand up. Thank you very much. And for the next song, I want us to do a country song. Or before the country song, give me Dance Monkey so that people can dance.
So we can start this one.
I think the pianist should come with the country music, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
This is going to be an amazing for all of you. You got to know. At some point, I'm going to mention their names and I'll have them walk up to the stage. At some point, not yet, Ben, just a moment. Over to you, Miranda. where to go. No, we can't have people on the internet seeing me sing. As you clap, in rhythm to the tune, keep clapping and help me welcome Dr. Vincent O'Neill. You can sit right in the middle. Ben Roberts, please join us. Mendy Jonjo Karibu. Peter Wairabu. Lillian Kiambati. Please, you may take your seats. Let's give George another round of applause. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that, George Jaramba. So talent can take very many forms. I think the Safaricom team talked about that career hook, and clearly you can see he's a young scientist, but also an incredible musician. Thank you so much for that, George. Ladies, gentlemen, young scientists, we wanted to have a very short discussion, really talking about STEM engagement and the changing Kenyan educational sector. And there's going to be a lot of insights for all of you, whether you are a student, whether you are a teacher, whether you are a parent, whether you are a partner coming in. I think the individuals we have seated will have a lot of value that they can share with us and a lot of experience. As a quick introduction, because you know most of them, we of course have board member at Young Scientists Tech and Technology Exhibition, YSTE Ireland, Dr. Vincent O'Neill, His Excellency, also former ambassador. He is there. Let's just keep our hands in the air as we just welcome them in. We also have Ben Roberts, the chairperson of Young Scientists Kenya. He is here as well with us. Mendy Njonjo, you heard her speak, KCB Foundation Director. Peter Wairabu, the country director for Raspberry Pi Foundation. And there is somebody who you are seeing for the first time. And I'm going to ask her just to wave especially back to all of you. And that is, of course, Lillian Nyawira Kiambati, who is the head of Department Technology Service Management at Safaricom. So everybody is really represented here, and we thank you for giving us your time. We have 3 microphones. I'm going to ask us to share them as we go along, depending on who is answering the question. And I'm also going to encourage you, if you have an insight, please add. Even though the question was not addressed to you, please feel free to add it. But keep it to 47 seconds exactly. Fantastic. So as we talk, this panel we want to have, and I'm going to ask all our students as well, if you have questions, we might have time, if we're lucky, we might have time to ask the panelists questions. So just note down your questions. In case we do have time, we would love to hear what you want to ask them as well. All right. So this panel is looking at the changing education landscape in Kenya and how the various sectors, including the private sector, development sector, public sector, can cooperate to develop and implement new tools, pedagogies, and practices to help prepare Kenyan youth currently under training. We have Dr. Vincent O'Neill, who you already know, and he's going to tell us a little bit about how YSTE in Ireland has worked to inspire youth for the past 61 years to pursue STEM courses and the impact it has had at the high school level as well. So we would love to hear from him We'll ask the questions in a moment. Mendy Njonjo is going to come and speak to us about the work the KCB Foundation does in the education sector. You've already spoken about 2GIP, we'd love to hear about that again, and ultimately how this feeds into the whole career and recruitment pipeline for KCB. Safaricom will bring out, and that is of course, Lillian is going to tell us, talk about the strong interconnection between policy, public policy, private sector, and explore the need for private sector to play a role in public sector education, and how this changing dynamic of our current landscape, emerging technology, how all of that works in and what Safaricom is doing to support and enable that growth. And Peter Wairagu, coming from RPF, which is Raspberry Pi Foundation, will speak on the programs they have available to learners. We've heard about coding clubs, we've heard about Experience AI and Google DeepMind. Would love to pick your brain a little bit more about that as well as we go along, and how that works with our CBC system as well. And of course, Ben, we would love to hear how YSK is doing and how our programs are supporting the ecosystem, this rapidly changing ecosystem as well. Okay, is everybody ready? Yes. Are you ready? Yes. Young scientists, we're not going to get started unless I hear a very loud cheer that yes, I am ready. So I want everybody to say 3, 2, 1, yes, I am ready. I hadn't do the countdown yet, but thank you for jumping the gun. 3, 2, 1! Yes! Again, it's only my friends in the front row who are responding to me. The students know I can read their tags. I can still see Sumayya's name, so I know they're responding. I need everybody. One more time. Are you ready, young scientists? Yes, I'm ready! Fantastic. Dr. O'Neill, I would love to start with you. And you gave us a very good idea and a glimpse into how BTYSD, which is the Ireland edition of Young Scientists Kenya, how it began, how it's been running for over 60 years, and you talked a little bit about Patrick Collison. I think what I would want to really hear is how has that changed, I think, the mindset across the entirety of Ireland over the years? Has there been a shift, and can we actually attribute that to, one, the general impact BTYSD has had for the whole continent, and then these individual winners, the Patrick Collisons that have come out in multi-billion-dollar companies that they have ended up founding?
Thanks very much. I suppose, in short, I would say very definitely the young scientists in Ireland had a very positive impact for the reasons I've mentioned before. Excuse me. What practically was that impact? And then I want to say that on its own, it's not enough. There needed to be other things in place as well. And this is where we need to engage with policymakers and politicians and other people to see how the impact of it can maximise. So, from a situation that I described where doing STEM in school wasn't very attractive, partly because it was difficult, it wasn't well taught, teachers weren't given the right skills, there wasn't the right equipment there, and there weren't really attractive courses for students to embark on a career in STEM. That has all changed significantly. And now you have a much better uptake of students, particularly among girls. You mentioned that before, Deputy Ambassador. That's very, very crucial. Now, last year, the young scientists in Ireland, 60% of the successful projects at the exhibition were by girls individually or groups of girls. That has been one thing, so that the enrollment and the teaching of science has hugely improved, and the support for teachers and the actual teaching of teacher training courses in STEM has improved. I think, secondly, universities came on board, and to some extent, I know from my few years here in Kenya, we were in that space, and Kenya is also a leader in this. But unfortunately, a lot of universities didn't train students for the realities of life or the realities of getting a job. They train them in more conservative classics or, you know, more state courses. And there was a transformation then, not just universities but in technological institutes, about working with the private sector to identify the kind of courses that would give students the skills they needed so that they could get jobs and that they could employ them. And that was a transformation. And private sector industry is particularly interested in students who can innovate, who can apply a scientific method, who basically think outside of the box and can actually add value to the work of those. I think also, side by side with that, over time, so when you have more students undertaking science at secondary school, when you have science being taught to a much better standard at secondary school, where you have third-level institutions actually offering a wide array of STEM-based courses that actually will allow people to graduate and get jobs from that. And then when you see companies who will look at Kenya, who have looked in Ireland, and Ben mentioned this about the tech sector in Ireland, they're looking for skills. They want these students, and they're not in every country. And that becomes a magnet for foreign direct investment. And that has why Ireland has become a leader in some sectors, pharma, ICT, financial services, healthcare products. That they would be the four areas. But just to conclude, it's not enough on its own. And this can't happen in a vacuum. And the science community, no matter how enthusiastic we are about STEM and the possibilities of STEM, we have to engage more broadly with policymakers and other institutions. And in Ireland's case, what was important was that our government saw the need to create, first of all, to improve education and make it improve access to education for all, to invest in the training of teachers for STEM, to basically create the conditions whereby universities were required, they get funding, but they were required to ensure that their courses met the demands of the economy. Fourthly, that the government provided a stable economic environment for trade and investment. And in Ireland's case, that meant offering stability, macroeconomic stability. Companies want stability. They don't want unpredictability. We're seeing that in some countries at the moment. But they also want incentives. And in Ireland's case, our government offered a very low tax regime which became a little bit contentious, but for companies to invest in Ireland so that they would pay lower corporation tax than they would in other countries. And Ireland also had the additional advantage that it was English speaking. I think Kenya, I'm just listening to everybody speaking today, the quality of English among the students. The fact that people speak English is an enormous advantage to attract foreign investment. And finally, in our case, what was an enormous element of success was being a member of the European Union. So Ireland is a small market. On our island now, our population is 6.5 million to 7 million. In Europe, it's 400 million. So companies will not invest huge amounts of money in one country just for a tiny market of 4 million people. But if through Ireland they can get to a market of 400 million people, yes, they're going to invest. And if they can find the trained skills that they need there, the stability that they require, and the mindset of innovation and work ethic that's there. So I think some of those lessons may or may not pertain to the Kenyan situation, but I think there is a need for a lot of interventions in STEM, in the STEM community, but also ancillary, complementary engagements to maximise for the benefit of the country in the future. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Dr. Vincent. Maybe if I can actually just a small, quick follow-up question, and many of you may not know this, but when I say Dr. Vincent is so ingrained in the idea of young scientists and empowering young people, in Jordan as well, where he was the first resident Irish ambassador for the country, Jordan, in the Middle East. You also were instrumental in the launch of Jordan Young Scientists, or JOYS as they call theirs, and we call ours YSK. So just curious about, for the students here in particular, what are other international students in Ireland, in Jordan, at that high school level, in Tanzania, what should we do to be competitive at that global level as well?
Thanks very much. And yeah, I mean, I think, again, learning from the Kenyan situation, again, when I went to Jordan, it was a new embassy, and we had similar discussions, and people were very interested in what happened in Kenya. And it was a very different path. Maybe another day we'll talk about that. But the key element is that there is now an interest, a better international interest in actually the concept. And also there are opportunities. But through this memorandum that I spoke with, that our Prime Minister signed earlier on this year, the Irish government wants us to proactively reach out to other countries and to deepen our links with Kenya and with Jordan. And there are benefits for Ireland because we can learn from what you're doing. It's not a one-way street. And I have to commend one of the incredible things that I love about YSK, that it has the three elements of the exhibition and what we're all here for today. The incredible work that you do on outreach and working with teachers and working in counties, working in schools. We don't do that to the same extent. And I think it's wonderful that you're doing it, and that's a huge contribution. And there's a lot of learning for all of us in how you're engaging with that. I think also you're doing some innovative things in your engagement with teachers that we can all learn from, that Ireland can learn from, that Jordan can learn from. So we're now going to see, to explore what are the ways that we can actually use these better international connections to allow for perhaps better representation of Kenya in international competitions, not just in Ireland, but maybe in other places. Maybe we might think about an East African version of YSK that we could work together with. All ideas will be on the table, but I think the international dimension is important, and it does create opportunities that we could really work hard to try and make happen.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Vincent. Or somebody wanted to clap. I'm not going to hold you back. If you need to give him a round of applause, please do that. Lillian, I wanted to pick your brain. Coming from Safaricom, we know how your reach in Kenya is unparalleled. We're celebrating 50 million. Everyone got that SMS as well, in case you missed it. And you have over 6,000 employees as well across the country. How, as really your tech company, and how is the emergence of technology such as AI, data science, and big data learning, etc., what changes do you expect to see, or would you like to see in the recruitment group that you're trying to add to those 6,000 employees and potential innovators here might be joining your company? What do they need to be aware of to really capitalize on emerging technologies and be a good fit for what industry needs?
That was a long one, but I truly appreciate it. So I'm an engineer by profession. So where are the engineers in the house? Yay! Thank you. I've already seen a smart home from the exhibitions. Yeah? And I'm sure I'm going to interact with a lot of interesting things as I move along. So I did electrical and electronics engineering, and I'm sure we will get a lot of you. And one thing that is commendable about this session is that I sat in such a session over 30 years ago. And here I am, right, as an engineer. I'm happy to see a lot of ladies there. So coming closer home, what has been different over the past, because I've been in Safaricom for the past 22 years, and I can tell you with technology, a lot has changed. And speaking closer home now to artificial intelligence and how it is shaping our world, and how it is coming into play, and some of the innovations we have been able to put in place at Safaricom. And let me just start with M-Pesa. Just a simple M-Pesa, because you can all relate to M-Pesa. During our time, what did we used to do? We used to send money via matatus. Or you look for a relative to send money with an envelope via matatu. So what did we think about? How can we, and money could get lost along the way, or the person could decide to pinch it, right? And give less, maybe 100 shillings because you share transport and all. And what did M-Pesa do to us? Yeah? Now you can be able to send money at your convenience, any hour, and it gets to the right person at the right time and the right amount, right? Isn't that great? Isn't that an innovation? And who thought about it? It was a Kenyan, just like you, right? And the build-ups that have been on M-Pesa are amazing. New products like Zidi, where you can be able to put in your money and then now it just grows over time. Because for those of you who have invested know that you needed to fill in a lot of forms to be able to put in money. And who is thinking about that? It is people like you. Yeah? And the latest one that was done by a student who came for internship in our industry is called Emratiba. It's a standing order on M-Pesa. A student like you who had finished probably young science, had big ideas about how you can be able to put in a standing order, and we welcomed them into our world, and we were able now to collaborate. And now you can be able to put in regular standing orders via M-Pesa. You don't have to go walk to a bank and fill in some long forms. It's all powered by M-Pesa. And coming back home, in terms of usage of artificial intelligence, we have a lot of use cases that we're already using in terms of solving customer problems. You've seen the chatbots that we have created. I hope you have interacted with them. And they're really good. Now you don't need to call us to reset your PIN. It's being done by a bot, right? In case you've forgotten your M-Pesa PIN, you can be able to reset it with a bot. And who is doing it? It is Kenyans for Kenyans. And it is people like you, right? Then come closer now to my world of technology. Would have been employing thousands and thousands of people to resolve problems on the network. But what have we done? We have robots that are doing self-healing for us. Yeah? We have predictive analysis that is able to analyze and be able to tell us next week you'll have higher traffic. And all this is powered by artificial intelligence. Now for you, I'm sure you're asking, how can you be able now to get into our world? And I can tell you it starts from right here. That smart home that you have built, yeah, from Kanga High School, I have seen it. We are doing smart homes now. So what can you do? You can come with your CV, say, besides doing electrical engineering, my project was based on, in high school was based on a smart home. And I believe we can be able to collaborate and work together, and we'll be able now to build for you smart homes for Kenyans, yeah? I saw a cyber dog in Dubai that is being used as security now. And I was like, what? They don't need dogs anymore. They're using a cyber dog. And that is powered by technology. And who's going to do that technology for us? It is you. So I'm really looking forward. And the most interesting thing about our world is the way it continuously changes. You sleep like this, you wake up, you're on a 2G network. Next time you're on a 5G network. And this is your world. You can exploit as long as you're solving a problem in your society, you're in the right place, and Safaricom welcomes you to our world of innovation. All ideas are welcome, and we are allowed also to fail forward. We're not afraid to fail when you come up with an idea and it doesn't sound so good or doesn't win. So all of you who've come in to do your presentations and think you've already won. So you're allowed to fail forward. So you fail here, and then now we move ahead. So you're welcome to our world to innovate, to co-create, to solve our customers' problems, to make us more responsive to the society by using technology for good. So karibuni sana to our world, and we truly embrace this initiative. And we've been, of course, partnering with you and also working with universities and also just feeding back on what they can do better to also make the STEM courses more responsive to the industry. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I think you've actually set up the segue perfectly for me to ask Peter. She's talked of how we need to do more, or we need to increase more innovation. Safaricom is looking to really always innovate, as they have always been doing, integrating AI into solutions as smoothly as possible. In Raspberry Pi Foundation, you have many programs that are supporting that growth, that tech enablement and development. Yet we tend to use internet. We need to access them, for example, on your websites, and the online devices need internet access, etc. That is good, but it can also be a challenge. So I think I wanted to hear from you. Has that accessibility? Internet makes things available everywhere, but we are still in the Kenyan context. So has that increased accessibility or made it harder for some people? And if you had any challenges around that, how should we address them collaboratively together as well?
Thank you very much. That's a very important question because of the times that we're living in this country. I know the issues of power and internet are serious issues that are affecting many people in different parts of this country. And as Raspberry Pi, we are very excited when we join up with other partners to extend the services to different regions in the country. Recently, visiting some regions in the northern Kenya, we got that is being done by, I think it's UNICEF, partnering with the FCDC to extend electricity to some of the counties in the frontier counties region. That ensures almost every school is able to get power, which is important, providing internet connectivity, which is also very encouraging when you walk to a teacher's office or a school environment and you find internet is available. But that is not yet to every school within our country. So at this particular point, what Raspberry Pi has done is to provide access to the content that you're giving. For instance, we have something called Code on a Stick, whereby File on a Code Club is also provided on a stick that you can be able to go and upload onto a laptop, a tablet, or a computer, which is making it very easy. We're also making our content downloadable, that we can be able to download it onto every tablet or device that we can be able to give, so that a teacher can be able to take it with him or herself to every school within the country. Of course, that gives us the question of how do we ensure that every upgrade, every change that is made, it is being done. That is still a challenge, but what we're making sure is that we are in touch and we are happy with YSK, the code clubs associated with YSK, constantly visiting them, they support them. If there is anything that is new that needs to be upgraded, they're making sure it is being done. That ensuring that there is constant touch with what is happening in the crowd is what is creating the difference. So we will continue to partner, and great to hear like what Safaricom is doing, that you can be able to work together and be able to reach to as many corners of this country as possible. Because what the child in Nairobi is getting should be the same thing every child is getting, whether in Turkana, West Pokot, or in Mandera, or in Ramu, everywhere else. And we are very, very happy to hear what other partners are doing, because the government, we know, they are doing the best that we can. But the government needs partnership with other development partners, other institutions like WISE, because this initiative, like what you're doing today, we cannot leave it all to the government. And the support that you're bringing in, the seed that is being planted here, like we normally say, every tree was once a seed. Today these are seeds. In a few years' time, there will be the great innovations that everybody will be talking about in this country. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to compliment briefly on what you have said, and just how Safaricom is supporting some of these initiatives. So this year we are pulling out 300 new sites, and some of them are in those areas that you have mentioned, West Pokot, Mandera, Wajir, just to make sure that those people are connected. And we've also connecting the schools and just making sure that there's internet connectivity, because we're trying as much as we can to make sure that at least we can be able to bring about equity. Are we there yet? No. Are we driving towards that? Yes. So we'll need a lot of support and a lot of collaboration to be able to get there. And Safaricom Foundation is also playing a very big role in equipping schools with computer labs and schools. So those are some of the initiatives. It's just you move a pin, but it makes a big difference in the country, because we've seen complete transformation in some of those areas that we have been able to reach. So I'm happy to about Raspberry Pi, and I'll look up on the internet. Yeah.
Thank you much. I know that about a few weeks ago, one of the schools in Wajir, I think KCB was there, Safaricom was there, and fantastic work that is being done in changing lives of the young people in every corner of the country.
Lillian, I think you stole my words. You're already matchmaking before I wanted to do that on Raspberry Pi's Foundation. Sort of problem meets solution, you know, which is why we have these conversations. So I really hope we can really build this discussion as well and amplify the connectivity that students need. Fantastic. Thank you. Lovely to hear that. Thank you so much, Peter. And I think, Mandy, I would love to hear from you, representing KCB. In our head, that just means money. Lots and lots of money. Banking, you know, one of the largest banks in the entire region, let alone Kenya. We have these fantastic programs that exist. We've heard of the challenges, for example, of connectivity. Safaricom can't do it all by themselves. Raspberry Pi Foundation can't do it all by themselves. All these fantastic partners can't do it all by themselves. Yet, we always go to the same areas, I think, to look for funding, the same sources of funding. I'm curious to hear, and I know you're not strictly speaking public sector, but just to hear from your experience on that is how do we address that challenge of there is public funding that exists, there is public support, there's also private funding that exists. How do we ensure that they're working together so that we can really help this development work that is happening across the country?
Let's try the red mic. Thank you. Thanks for your question. It's a really good question. And for those of you who may not be caught up on the development sector intrigues, what has been happening is that a whole lot of what we would call foreign aid as well as development assistance is receding because of several shifts in governmental policies, and as a consequence, if you are in this non-profit development space, a whole lot of what would have been expected to be received is suddenly either altogether cut away, or diminished, or has been diverted to other sources. So one of the things that I like about your question is that you're asking about possibilities. And I feel that is also the spirit that even YSK is really convened under, and that's the sort of spirit that runs through the work that is happening. Because I believe in that whole idea of possibilities. I love the idea of asking, if this is the new world that we're living in, what should I do? What should I adapt? What innovations, as the previous speakers have talked about, should I hop into to make this new world that I'm living in possible, to make this new world that I'm living in more realistic? So a little bit about the work that we do. So one of the things we're very clear about at KCB is that you must have shared prosperity in the countries that we live and work in. And we know that this must be done in two ways. If you're able to provide education, I think you spoke about education, Dr. Neil, and if we're able to provide education, especially for really bright people who may not be able to access this education, then what you do is that you don't just transform the life of a person, you transform the lives of their families, you transform the lives of communities, and through this, you're then now able to change the destinies of a nation. And we do this through our KCB Scholars Program, which every year we try and take about 1,250 students to really be able to get towards quality education. In terms of how do we fund this, this is funded purely by KCB in terms of profits. So the bank makes money, gives the foundation money, and with that, we're then now able to do the work that we do. We are also able to do things like partnerships. We partner with the M-Pesa Foundation in terms of how do we support students who we feel are really bright and something that the community must invest in, to be able to come up with programs that speak towards people who otherwise have not been part of that conversation. And through this program, the KCB Scholars, what we're really proud of is that through the power of, again, KCB Bank giving us, a percentage of the profits to do this work, we've been able to partner with other organizations, we've been able to partner with educational institutions to fund this work, to fund the innovations that are required to drive quality education, so that you're able to have a situation where 99% of the students we start with will finish high school. That's a fact. 84% of the students we start with in high school are going to transition to tertiary, as well as to some sorts of higher education. And that's because we're also investing in the innovations that go in that. And to tie this to ISK, one of the things that I'm really intrigued by is that as an extension of this KCB Scholars Program, we've been trying to see how do we move towards employment, right? You've all had the statistics. What is it? 1 million people will enter the workforce. 800,000 of this will not be able to get jobs. It's a statistic. I'm a mathematics graduate. It's true. However, we like to flip it. It is that 800,000 people will have to create jobs, and those are the people we like to bet on. And so what we've been trying to do also with the KCB Scholars Program leads to Jerry, is to see out of the innovations that we're seeing out here, and I really encourage you to visit the KCB stand, talk to the people there. You have not just ideas, you have potential businesses, you have potential enterprises, you have potential partnerships. If there's somebody who is doing solar and there's somebody who's doing a smart home, right? Those are the sorts of conversations that we're really interested also in investing in as KCB. And I feel that this sort of initiatives, in terms of now to close and to make sure I've answered your question, the power of partnerships, the power of investing in these ideas that are going to be businesses is something that we're really, really, really behind as KCB and as KCB Foundation. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Maybe while you're still holding the red microphone, if I could ask, we have over 250 brilliant young students here. Would they be eligible to join any of the programs, to Jiajiri, KCB Scholars Program, or do you need to get them before they get to high school? And if you do, maybe they have younger siblings who are as brilliant as them and excited to explore that opportunity. Maybe just a word or two about the two programs.
Okay, what I'm hearing you say is keep it to 47 seconds. So short answer, yes. In terms of Jiajiri, We typically will take people who are over 18, and if you have an idea, if you have a business, if you're self-employed, if you're an entrepreneur, or if you also want to look for work, we are absolutely open. We're in 47 counties. We are almost every town you can think of. You find KCB everywhere, right? So for Tujajiri, we absolutely would love to hear from you in terms of if you're an aspiring entrepreneur, we have programs for aspiring entrepreneurs as well as for entrepreneurs. We really like working with young people. This is something that we have a very keen focus on. We also support things like vocational training. So maybe you've done your smart home and then you're like, oh, I want to do a little bit of electrical support. We have vocational training scholarships. Every year we provide about 15,000 vocational training scholarships to young people. For the KCB scholars, I would say maybe the JSS, the younger team, because we try to make sure that we intervene in that stage where we found the biggest danger in, which is falling off between primary and high school and tertiary. So what we like to do is to intervene usually at what was high school, but then now we want to walk with you the entire 8 years, because we believe if we start with you, we are going to finish with you. So that's what we do. So you have younger siblings, encourage them to apply. Tujajiri is open for all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Fantastic. Just a quick question. How many of us are still doing the 844 system? Hands in the air. Most of us. And how many of us are doing the CBC curriculum? Right. All great stuff. Good stuff. I asked that because, Ben, I wanted to hear your thoughts. We have the 844 system, and I'm asking you this because you've had a lot of experience as well in the tech ecosystem across the continent, let alone just Kenya. We have this new, competency-based educational system coming in. We've had the 844 system as well. So for the many hands that went up and for the hands that will be going up, more hands over the next few years for the CBC program, which places a great emphasis on student-driven learning and STEM pathways as well. In your experience, does this really align with the industry demands and the global trends? I'm talking from tech, but I know you have experience across engineering as well, and you are a scientist. Fun fact, Ben was involved in the development of a very, very, very fast car that exists in the UK, a Lotus. So just ask him about that when you find time. He'd love to tell you that story. It's a really fun one. But again, from experience across all these industries, for the students who are not in the CBC curriculum and perhaps have not gone through that system of student-driven learning with STEM pathways, what can they do to be more competitive in the industry? So many of us here. And for those who are in that CBC program, is that the right way to go to be, again, competitive and to align with what industry needs?
First part of the question, we don't yet know. CBC is coming through, and we've still got a room full of mostly kids doing 844. Those students will, those that are graduating in Form 4 now, they will start university maybe in August or something, and they will hit the workplace in about 5 years' time. And the people who are doing CBC now, who are in the room, they still have 3 or 4 more years to finish. So they will hit the workplace in 9 years' time. So we don't know. We don't know, so don't worry yet if you're doing 844, but it's not clear to industry what will be the impact. And I will say that generally, it was said earlier, I can't remember who, but there needs to be better collaboration between industry and higher education to make sure that higher education is turning out graduates for our needs, and the same with TVETs as well. Like TVET graduates should be turned out to get jobs. And that's not enough of that going on. There's even less going on of collaboration between industry and real thinking as to what people should be learning in school. Though CDC has been developed, you know, with a lot of expertise and coming from other people coming from other markets and other things. So we pray, right? We don't really know. An observation though, and as I say, I went to school in another country as well, you know, having been to Young Scientist Island this year, there was, it was a bit bigger than this because they've got more school years and then they've got more projects from each year. So a larger exhibition. But it's good for us that we're having two generations. We're having JSS and secondary school categories in this year. So it's sort of evolving to get bigger. But the area where industry, there was a large sort of hall, as big as this, if not bigger than this tent itself, just where industry was doing exhibitions. Big companies were there, and they were not there to talk about their products. They were there to show what they did and what careers were like in their organisation, because they're trying to pick off the best talent now, right? They're not going to give them a job straight away, but they might sponsor them through university, but they're not doing it in a throw money at it way. They're doing it in a picking out the people we want, right? Spot the and you know, as I say, I'm seeing talented people who I recognise, and I'm seeing in industry. This really is what kind of should be happening. Right? Unfortunately, we've got it the wrong way round because there's 1 million people coming into the workplace every year. That is 1 million people, and for the top tech jobs we're talking about in science and STEM and everything else, we're not even talking 300,000. We're talking, 30,000 or something, like, you know. So everybody in that 1 million who's interested in STEM is competing for the top companies. We have 2 of the top companies here, which is fantastic. Top 10 companies in country, but they're going to be competing to get in the top 10 companies. Whereas the world I come from and my neighbours here, it's the top companies competing for the top people. It's the other way around, right? They're trying to drag them out of the system and not wait for them to push the door down. Use this platform, right? The words is, you know, you're coming here, you've selected a few thousand entries to YSK this year, 130 projects and schools are here this year. You know, use this platform for thinking about what you want to do next, you know. Grab the people that come round for the exhibition, tell them all about what you've done and get their attention and show them also the brilliance that is coming through high school. You know, grab the attention, open a LinkedIn profile, post your project on LinkedIn, say you're on YSK, start this thing now, this is what employers are looking for. You know, start fighting that fight there. And if you want to do more with STEM and you're studying your JSS and your school doesn't have Raspberry Pis or doesn't have electronics kits or doesn't have biology labs, demand them. Tell your teachers you want them to get a Raspberry Pi, and it's not very expensive, they can afford these things. And if they don't, go home and nag your parents and say, I want to go to another school. You know, if you can, you're going to have to grab it now and demand it, right? It's not going to be put on anyone's plate, and you need to use this platform for the springboard that it is. And as I say, I did something similar, and Karagani has alluded to. I ended up having done something like YSK when I was in school. As a springboard from that, before I went to university, I was invited to go and work for a year as an internship in a sports car company, in developing and building a sports car, making that into a production sports car. But this is before starting. It didn't become a full-time job. I then went to study, but you know, this is the sort of thing I'm having. You know, industry pulling people in for internships before they study. You know, get experience, get exposure, and if you are selected to be one of our winners on Saturday, you know, what follows then will be a boot camp experience. So in that, we'll have lots of help to try and help you incubate your ideas, incubate the way you communicate your ideas, but also industry visits, right? You might not, if you're coming from to Nairobi the first time,
you might not have seen. There's a company in just not far from here, very close to here, making Raspberry Pis. There's another company making vehicles, making cars. You probably haven't seen this, but you'll get the opportunity to do that if you come to that bootcamp. So just seize that opportunity and make the best of it. And I think YSK is a platform for everybody to make the most of it. It's not everyone is going to be a winner, but everybody who takes part use that experience and that platform to grab somebody and find out more about what it's like working in industry. Talk to any of us if we're around and ask and find out. Thanks.
Thank you so much for that, Ben. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, sure. Round of applause. I'm going to ask us all for one final comment. This time really 47 seconds. I'll be looking at you and ask for a round of applause. And really it's a parting word from all of us, and just from your own very personal hopes and aspirations for our students. What impact do you hope to see them have in Kenya over the next 5, 6, 7, maybe in another 8 years as well? What impact do you hope to see young scientists, Kenya and these particular young scientists, having over the course of their careers? And let's see, how many microphones do we have? Okay, I'll start on that end, and Dr. Vincent will skip you, and I'll have you give the last word. Peter, please go ahead.
Thank you for that. We are at a critical time in this country. Change is coming so fast. Kenya is very strategically positioned to impact not only this region, but the whole of Africa. And even beyond Africa, you are the people who are best positioned to do that. Most of the panelists here are what we call the digital migrants. The computers have found us existing, and the phones and so on. You have come to this world when technology is in circulation. You are the people who can influence the next stage that you are going to. So do not be shy of grabbing the opportunity, as Ben has said. See it and go for it. Because opportunities will come through the trainings you're getting in schools, through what YSK is doing, and many others. Take the advantage, and you will be an influencer of your time. I know that the world is changing because you have decided to be in the you are the actor. Thank you very much.
Me? So mine is a prayer and a prediction for the young scientists who are in this room. I really hope the projects that you've all come in today, because you've been selected from a very wide range of other participants. You're all winners, and that's why you're sitting in this room. I hope some of the projects, maybe even all, grow to be maybe perhaps Kenya's first unicorn. A unicorn is a company worth $1 billion, right? Maybe. That is my prayer for all of you, that your projects are successful, not just in financial terms, but actually in terms of what it is that you're able to bring out of these enterprises, both for yourself as well as the issue that you're trying to resolve. And I'm also hopeful that for all of you who are sitting here, my prayer is that you also serve as an inspiration, not just to your colleagues or to the person who's sitting next to you, but also to the school classmates that you have who are not necessarily here, to your other family members, that it is possible to have a career in STEM. It is possible to have an idea that becomes a business going forward. So that is my prayer for you. May you be successful, may you be blessed, may your ideas flourish, and you will always have a partner in KCB. Thank you.
Then I'll let you go. You have, okay, he's handed it over. Very clever, smooth.
Thank you very much. I know you know about some of the big innovations we have had, and I'll just mention a few that you can relate with, so that we walk the journey together. You've heard about Netflix, you've heard about YouTube, We've heard about AWS, ChatGPT, right? Yeah, and M-Pesa, I had mentioned M-Pesa. Yeah? And how did all this start? Somebody was working towards solving a problem, right? For AWS, it is how do you store your data from the flash disk? How do you store it in the cloud? Such that the flash disk doesn't disappear or a thief doesn't come through, right? When you look at Netflix, it's entertainment, but somebody said, do I need to go and keep changing those CDs? Remember those people who had video libraries? And they said, no, we can be able now to have a global stage where you can watch all the movies in the world that you want at only $10. Yeah? When you look at TikTok, where I know you are, yeah? It is entertainment, and they were thinking, these young people don't have brain to hold and watch long videos. Let's give them shorter videos that are for entertainment or for education or for whatever. So now that you are here, I'm sure all of your projects are speaking to a problem statement, working towards a solution. And that's why I say you're in the right place. As long as you're solving a solution, then this is the right place for you. And all I can say is, are you guys on your marks? Are you set to go? Then go. And please join us at our Safaricom book stage, where you learn a lot about how we can be able to work together, see our products and see how they were co-created together with people like you, and then also give us information and feedback on how we can be able now to work collaboratively together. So all the best. The world is yours to conquer in STEM, and just looking forward to the exciting things that are going to be built in future, powered by you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and absolutely, I think those things of the future are going to be powered by you, and there is going to be support for investment in those ideas, right? So, as I said, we've got two of the biggest companies in the country here, and you know, we talked about mobile phones earlier on. We've seen one of these companies invest in manufacturing mobile phones, but I know that they'll be making a phone that one of you guys developed in a few years' time, and they'll be making more money, they'll be making bigger profits. So everybody, you know, your ideas will get invested in, and things will happen. It won't be totally easy, not every idea will become a unicorn for certain, but not every idea will be your last idea, so you'll have many more ideas to follow. And you know, learning from an idea that you try and it didn't work out is a good experience that you'll then improve upon that idea or have a completely different one. We are on the verge of AI, you know, a change in everything really from AI, and we're also facing another change around climate change, and that means an energy transition. And Kenya is already, through investments that we've made over 20, 30 years, is already one of the leading countries in the world in geothermal energy, for instance, right? 6th in the world in the quantity of geothermal energy. And Kenyans are now helping other countries in East Africa, Tanzania, Uganda, drilling for steam to grow geothermal energy. So back to something Vincent picked upon, Kenya's strength in what makes it an economic power and have opportunities is partly in this gateway to the East African community, a community of 250 million people. The Union was 400 million people, but back to that paradigm of Ireland and Kenya, I think there's some similarities, and I guess Vincent probably touched on them and knew them because he's been here before, but you know, there's an opportunity there. Whatever you do now, opportunities in AI, we've seen great advancements in ChatGPTs and others, but that's maths that anybody can learn the math, right? You learn the math, if you can get somebody to buy you a big computer, you can apply that math, but you need a lot of money to buy that big computer to really apply that. But in doing that, you know, banks like KCB then will start using AI solutions from you guys to make their bank better and their customers more happy and make the bank more profitable. and you'll get paid good money working in banks. So not everybody will start their own companies. Someone's going to work in corporates, but we need everything to work together. So yeah, that's my sort of parting shot.
Thanks, Ben. I have the easy job because I have time to think about it. If I can say 3 things. Young Scientist Kenya should be Young Scientist Kenya, because it's still on a very early stage of its evolution and development. And everybody associated with it deserves a huge pat on the back for the huge achievements you've made to get here where we are today. But one thing would be that I would hope that the current group of stakeholders can work together to help it evolve to be the appropriate model for Kenya and mature over coming years. And just as Young Scientists Ireland continues to evolve, but that it continues to have energy and ideas and engagement. Secondly, I would suggest, I think I was really very taken by some of the younger speakers at the very beginning, the alumni who can not just do science but play music and do other things. But I think maybe to try and harness the views of the alumni, of the people, the students who've been through the system, and see how their views can be heard to inform how Young Scientists Kenya can be better. And how can that be accommodated over time? And finally, to go back to something I said earlier on, the community of people that are interested in this, and that's like all the people on stage, the boards, the schools, the board of government schools, the Ministry of Education, all of these groups of people, how can we start a conversation around the complementary public and private sector policy inputs that are necessary to take advantage of what YSK is actually contributing to? And I think that's a necessary conversation. We can't pretend we can't have that conversation. And I think you'll find, people will be willing to listen to those views. But to see how, on a longer term perspective, that dialogue can actually take place so that the potential within YSK can be absolutely maximized over time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. O'Neill, Ben Roberts, Mendy Jonjo, Patrick, Wairugu, Lillian, I struggle with the second one. Kiambati. Lillian Yoweri Kiambati. Let's give them a round of applause. Young Scientists. Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you so much. We want to ask you, number one, to stay for a photo. Were there any questions that came up? Anybody had any questions? Let me see. I see a few hands. Great. Don't throw away your questions. Our guests, hopefully, will have some time to go around the exhibition booths. They'll be around. Please ask them when they pass by. And if you don't find them, they all have, every organization here has a booth that you can actually access and really get to know and ask the questions that you wanted to ask. I'm going to ask all of us, I don't know, where's our photographer? Do you want them standing or sitting? Standing. Standing. As they take their photo with big smiles on their faces, and I can't see everybody from my angle, but students, let me know, is everybody showing their teeth? Yes, no? All right, the students have asked for bigger smiles. There we are. Let's give them a round of applause as that is happening. We have some new technology that's going to pick up the sound of your applause and add it to the photo as well. Okay, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Another big round of applause with our hands in the air. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Until they get to their seats, as they make their way, or maybe I can ask you to stay here, Lillian. Maybe I can ask all of you to wait here because your seats, it'll be easier for you to you can be seated here just for a minute or two. No, I'm not going to ask you to do anything, just to remain seated. That's all, thank you. I just want to give the next instructions, which are, I'm going to ask all our guests if you can remain seated for a moment. We will escort you to the area where you'll be having your tea. And our guests, our board members, I think you know yourselves. Just remain seated. Karina from our team will escort you for tea. To all our other students here, our young scientists, our teachers, we are inviting you to make your way for a tea break. Bakari and Seth are already outside, waving and ready to make sure that you are well fed. So they will escort you to the tea area, and after that, please come back immediately into the exhibition booths, all your projects, so that you can make sure everything is ready for the afternoon and finalize on your preparation for the judging that will commence. And I wish you all the best of luck in that. So students, I'm going to ask you all to rise to your feet right away so that we can have a quick refreshment and health break with a bit of tea involved, and then my guests are going to ask you to remain seated for a moment, and we shall escort you as well. And as you're standing, please give your neighbor a high five and tell them, I am ready for the exhibition. Fantastic, thank you very much.